Hey, hello, and welcome back to the Hubbard family of Clay County, Kentucky History Series. This is video number 8, so we've been at this for over 2 months now. Remember to subscribe, hit the thumbs up, ring the notification bell, and leave a comment. We are hanging on to 20 subscribers, so no one is left yet. I'm only in it for likes and subscribers and not in it for the money. This week we pick up the next 3 generations of the Hubbard family, covering from 1525 to 1717, and our eventual coming to America. We left off last week with Sir Miles Hubbard and the first signs of loyalty, any royalty in the family, and as we were the baronets of Plumstead. We continue that with this next generation, Sir Thomas, born in 1525, who was baronet of Plumstead, as well as his father and grandfather, Sir James and Sir Miles. There are several different conflicting sources on Sir Thomas. Some list his death as 1560, some at 1599, and some in 1600, but pretty much all agree that he died on January the 17th. Some of the confusion was related to the man known as Thomas the Martyr, who was known as a dissident to the church at the time and was one of 300 burned at the stake for his religious practices. As best I can tell, our ancestor, Sir Thomas, was not Thomas the Martyr and lived until about 1599 or 1600. Thomas was married to Audrey Hare, and they had several children. Sir Henry, born in 1563, another Miles, I guess named after his dad there, in 1564, Mary, born in 1567, Andrew, born in 1572, Edmund, so there's your first Ed there, Ed, born in 1573, and our ancestor, James, who was born in 1578. Sir Henry was the son that carried on the knighthood and as the baronet of Plumstead, so he's the one that carried out the knighthood and residence at Bickling Hall, and our ancestor James was not the baronet, so he lived elsewhere, and he married Naomi Cock. James and Naomi moved from Mendelsham, England, and died in Essex, England. They had several children. They had George, born in 1592, Sarah, 1593, Benjamin, 1596, Rebecca, who only lived less than just days, born in 1596, and possibly another Sarah, born in 1597, Rachel, born in 1598, Thomas, born in 1601, James in 1603, Anne in 1605, Samuel in 1610, John in 1614, Bertha in 1616, and another Thomas here they list as 1670. First of all, there's some confusion about the 2 Sarahs. One source showed that Sarah died in 1618 near Plymouth, Massachusetts, which would have meant she would have been on the Mayflower. However, reviewing the passenger list for the Mayflower does not show a Sarah Hubbard or any Sarah, so it does not look like she was one of the original Mayflower colonists. More likely, this Sarah died in 1618 in France, where we have another Sarah listed. So my contention that this was the Sarah born in 1593 and died in 1618, and the one shown as born in 1597 and dying in 1605 is just a duplication and a mistake on Ancestry.com. The more interesting question is Thomas, our ancestor. He's shown as living between 1601 to 1620, and then being born in 1670 and dying in 1717, according to the records I found on Ancestry.com. If he was born in 1601 and died in 1717, he would have been 116 years old. And if he was born in 1670, that was after his supposed mother and father had passed away. So I did find some references that showed, that most likely he was born around 1650 and lived to 1717 to the age of 60, around 66 or so. To me, this is more reasonable and it fits all the other facts. I mean, every other fact I could find all point, to Thomas being the person, but that there's some confusion about date. Thomas, fairly, common name. Like I say, and all the records about him dying in 1717 show that he died in Lancaster, Virginia, meaning that he was our first ancestor to live in the United States, and that we were here some 60 or 70 years before the founding of the United States, before the Revolutionary War. You got to kind of look at these records from, 500, 600, 700 years ago, and there's a lot of, common names, and, so you get a lot of confusion and a lot of things. So I've tried to make sure that more than one fact lines up, like who's listed as the parents, who's listed as their siblings, who's listed as their spouse, and then, you got to kind of make the dates match up. So I think it's most likely that I would have to settle on Thomas being born sometime around 1650, 1651, and died in 1717 in Lancaster, Virginia. So, this is a time of a lot of people coming from England and Europe, Ireland and, Scotland and so forth, all those areas of Europe, Spain, France, trying to escape the oppression and looking for the new world and opportunities. So our family seemed to get in on this fairly early, early 1700s. And, it's not long before, we're going to get to the point where we moved to Clay County, and some of you may be surprised to find out how long we've actually lived in Clay County. Now, this week's sponsor, have you ever decided to go on a picnic, but you weren't prepared? I mean, it kind of came up all at once. Well, our sponsor this week has got you covered on that. So they make custom picnics for you. And so if you just kind of watch their brief message, I know they'd appreciate it.
POV. When you are having a picnic, I suggest you bring this amazing product called Custom Picnic. It is delicious and nutritious. With it, you can have a great time with your friends and family. It comes with enough food to feed a crowd, and it is also ant-free. Get yours now and enjoy the perfect picnic.
Well, that wraps up another week's video, and we finally moved from England to the colonies here in eastern Virginia. They're close to the Atlantic Ocean there, so I guess we liked the beach then too. I know a lot of us like the beach in our family. So we're getting, closer and closer to modern times and bringing the main storyline to its current end. If there's any interest or sufficient interest, we'll go off on the other branches of the family, such as, the Centers, the Bargos, the Grays, Ashers, Bakers. I mean, there's a lot of different ancestors. We can kind of get into them. Don't have as many records on those as I did focusing on the Hubbards, but it's kind of interesting to see that we've got how the family is spread out over the years. So, and the closer you get to today, the more it spreads out. So, until next week, good Lord willing, stay Hubbard and peace out, my friends.